Hi, my name's Kristine LeTellier. I was diagnosed in December 2022 at 40 years old with synchronous bilateral breast cancer. After I was diagnosed in January, I had 6 rounds of high-dose chemo that took me to May. In May, I had a bilateral mastectomy with expanders, and then in October 2023, I had an exchange surgery to implants. I am currently no evidence of disease, but I am still taking shots every 3 months, and I also am taking letrozole. I do want to thank the doctors, Dr. Wiggins, Dr. Fenton, Dr. Maselli, all the care team, nurses at the infusion center in Lincoln. I would like to thank my husband, who's been there for me since the beginning, my daughter Kylie, who I love, and she has been right by my side, my son Connor, who also has been right by my side, my parents, Rose and Kim, my in-laws, Anna and Paul, and all my fans that have followed my story through Facebook or through following me and my journey. I would also like to thank my sisters for everything they have done for me and my family, and my best friends, Erin and Christina. This program really benefited me in ways that I didn't even know I needed, but when you go through this, you need to have people who have also gone through this in order to feel like you're not complaining to people that have been with you through the whole thing. It was really hard, but to meet other people that have gone through this was really refreshing. The Gloria Gemma Foundation is remarkable. I'm new to this foundation since I just got newly diagnosed, but they open their arms and they welcome you and feel like you're one of them. My name is Kristine LeTellier, and this is my story.
Hi, everybody. I'm sitting here with Kristine LeTellier. I'm trying to make your husband proud of me. Now, I'm not originally from New Orleans, but that sounds like it would just fit in perfectly down there as a LeTellier, I think, not as a LeTellier. So, but it works either way.
Yes.
Okay.
It does.
Is your husband French?
Yeah, French Canadian.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Because you were saying that he was French, and does he speak French?
No.
Okay. I went to Quebec last year and fell in love. It was so amazing. So I don't know, is he from that area?
I have no
You
idea.
have no
His
idea?
family is.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
Yes.
Maybe you can ask him over dinner tonight.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to ask you, how did you come upon the She Rose program?
So I came upon the She Rose program because a really good friend of mine, Tammy Roy, was in it last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw how fun. And then I did go to the convention center and was blown away by everything there and wanted to be a part of something big.
So that was your first experience with the foundation, was at their October event last year?
Yes.
So interesting. And how long ago were you diagnosed?
So I was diagnosed December of 2022.
Okay.
So newly diagnosed. It's not even been 2 years yet.
Yeah.
So I was diagnosed at 40, and Tammy was the only one that I knew that has been really through this. And so I knew I needed someone or people to help me through this time, and it definitely showed me, and even being here, just meeting these wonderful women who have all been through the same thing I'm happy that I did this.
Yeah. What was the hardest part, or has been the hardest part of your cancer experience so far?
Well, everything was hard with the chemo and things like that. I think what's the hardest is when everything was done and all the surgeries were done and everybody's saying how great I look, and I know I look great, but on the inside, it definitely needs help.
Yeah.
My bones are just not what they used to be. And so that's really just, I look great, so I should feel great. But then
and you must be better then, right? If you
Yes.
look great, you must be better.
And I always was saying the same thing to my husband, how I feel crappy. And now I can call up people that have been through this and just kind of talk to them about it. And it's not, I'm complaining. It actually means something.
Yeah, you participate in SCART, and we have a SCART version for family caregivers. And one of the questions that we ask them as they analyze their experience caring for a loved one is really about their patience, because they're thrown into this world with you. In your case, you're being directed on what to do from your physicians until, like you said, until they say, okay, see you in 6 months. And then you're like, whoa, what do I do now? But I think from step one as a caregiver, I feel for them, because no one gives them, maybe they get a pamphlet or something, I don't know. But all of a sudden they have to be a therapist and a nurse and a pastor, or all the things, and patient. And so that was just a little shout out to those who are in that field. I mean, not that field, that position of being a caregiver. But this is about you today. So I wanted to ask you, with the She Rose program, has there been anything that stood out in the experience for you that has helped you after being referred by Sweet Tammy, that you're glad you participated in this?
I really like the story crafting. The story crafting really showed me, and it gave me time to unpack some of the things that have happened in my past that I wasn't able to kind of work on. I got married, I had children, I had a full-time job. There was never a time for me to reflect. And I think that story crafting gave me that reflection of what happened, why it happened, who I am today because of what happened, and some of the positive things that have come out of all of this, instead of looking at all the negative stuff. It's really something now I can advocate and say that it's really important to kind of reflect on yourself.
Yeah. I use a little cartoon sometimes when I talk about story crafting, of someone standing behind jail bars, but there's no sides. Like, they can easily step to the left or right and walk out of that jail. But a lot of times we hold ourselves captive. And it's because our minds are so chaotic and crazy, and our life experiences sometimes become like a jumbled mess. And so I think story crafting helps you sort of, like you said, unpack it and realize you can, you can embrace what you've been through, but you don't have to live in the shadows of that. You can step out of that and figure out what's next. So what is next for you in your journey? What kind of things are you working on in your own life of development and growth?
So I just finished the 14 rounds of preventative chemo, and I just got my port out last 2 weeks ago. So now I'm fully onto the positive advocating, making sure that people go out there and get their mammograms when they need to. And for me, I'm starting a new job. I'm trying to, I know now that life is just so short, and find the joy, because I needed to find joy, and I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, but I'm trying different things now.
Yes. Do we ever have to really know the answer to that question? Because then maybe it gets boring once you know the answer. So it's okay to just keep wondering and exploring and just taking it a day at a time.
Yes.
So, well, I've been so blessed to get to know you, and I can't wait to hear your story. It's got a very interesting title, and I have only read the titles. I have not read the stories because I want to hear them for the first time from you. But what is your title referring to? What is Nalu?
That means wave.
Okay. Oh, that's a Hawaiian word for Hawaii? Wave?
Wave.
Okay.
Wave.
All right. Well, we will look that up.
Okay.
It sounds Hawaiian to me.
Yes.
We'll look at
yes.
it.
Yes.
Maybe somebody could tell us. But without further ado, we're going to have Kristine read her story that was part of the story crafting program called Nalu.
Yes. And this story is about me, but I put it in a perspective of a little, like, it starts with a little girl.
Okay. Can't wait to hear it.
Not that long ago, a little girl sat right by the shoreline with her bottom in the sand and her feet in the water as she felt it rippling up her legs. It was a beach that she went to with her family many times before. The calmness of the water allowed her to adventure alone with adults on shore. Protected by the rocks, she lay floating for days, months, years with all the love and support a child needed. As she became a teenager, she started swimming past the rocks where the Whitecaps lived in search of a community where she belonged. There, she had many near drownings as she navigated her way through the dangerous surf. She was given support over and over again, but she felt she did not matter and pushed those closest to her away. Speedboats came and stayed for a bit, filled with men and women who did not make good choices and were dangerous. They gave her the feeling of love and support at first to a feeling of loneliness when they would get bored and speed away. Sailboats would come by with men and women that would be loving and supportive, but there were just not her type at the moment and sent them on their way. There was one boat, the prom queen, that visited her often, and she knew they were coming by the smell of patchouli in the ocean air. Her best friends would try to help her, but the danger-seeking behavior and the rough waters sent them back to land. After years of ups and downs came a stillness, and a large boat came into view, as a man held out his hand and saved her from drowning. They sailed around for many years, traveling and enjoying life. In 2007, they settled down right by the ocean, were married. She was living a dream with a husband, house, job, and a baby on the way. In October 2008, she was blindsided by a tsunami that came with no warning as it crashed hard, taking with it trust, jobs, friends, family, and savings. Her husband was given opiates as a prescription. That was the common procedure. An addiction formed, and that wave crashed hard on everyone, but especially for her. She was thrown out into the ocean again, and this time there was darkness for many, many years, as she would wave away any boat that came near. For many years, he fought for her forgiveness with all his might and let her have the time she needed to earn his trust. Years of love and support he gave her, and in return she gave him anger, aggression, and resentment. Yet he still stayed by her side even when they diagnosed her with postpartum and bipolar disorder. She needed help, and she realized it takes a village. As she reached out to family and friends, it became her realization that life is not as hard as she thought. In 2017, she joined a local gym that was a community of active adults who liked to complain about working out. Her attitude changed, and she started to enjoy life. She repaired the relationship with her husband and was completing obstacle races, traveling, eating healthy, and feeling fit and confident. For 5 years, life was good. In December 2022, another massive tsunami came, knocking everything down in its path. Here comes cancer and all the feelings you don't want to have at 40. Feelings of scared, nervousness, the unknown, sadness, and trauma barreling at her full speed. Pain is what crashed into her first, and she tried to swim. Whitecaps started to appear at every angle, and there was no way to swim around them. There were scans, biopsies, chemo that left her with feelings of anger, hopelessness, and made her tired and weak. She pushed past using support and wisdom from her fans. Months and months of swimming around the dangerous whitecaps, and next came the bilateral mastectomy and exchange surgery. While learning how to stay above the water with one storm at a time, the boat filled with love and support stayed right by her side. Her husband as the captain, her 15-year-old daughter and 11-year-old son as co-captains. They were ready to give her the support that she needed, but when she could not love herself, it was hard to let anyone close. The wave of ugly and embarrassment crashed over with every "you look great" whisper in the wind. She was fighting not just on the outside where they could physically see, but on the inside where her thoughts were on repeat. One day, test results came floating by with positive news that she was free of cancer. She yelled for the lifeboat, and she quickly pulled her tired body out of the water. With time to rest, she rowed the lifeboat past the rocks and back into the calmness of the ocean. While focusing on her breath, she made her way to the sand where hope, love, and support were waiting with open arms.
So how are you on receiving that help now and that love and support? Is it still a struggle?
No, it's getting better. It is. It's now. I'm really have a positive relationship with my daughter, where before we were kind of at each other's throats. I've told my husband now that I'm not as patient anymore. So, because that's really hard when you have someone who is so sick, you become that caretaker, like you were saying. And now we're finally getting out of that where my husband can take a breath. And right now, I have all my surgeries I have no more surgeries. And I am on a positive light right now. So
Yeah, that you're like, instead of being crushed by the wave, you're riding it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've enjoyed so much having you in this program, and I hope to see so much more of you and to hear about your stories. And, with all the ladies who are here today, a lot of them who came in were last year's participants. And, they were sitting in your chair last year, and you just see that life does go on. It can get better. Lean on people, let them help you.
Yes.
And accept the love, give the love back, live this precious life.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck with your new job.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.